like these poor kids know what's about to happen, but they don't know. They just wanted to confirm. All the animals locked up, they deserve to be in the wild. And until the guy said, somebody got some industry plan. So he's an industry plan. Of course, he's the opposite. Total. That exact genre is the most industry plans. It's about like influence and mind control. The anything? No, you didn't. What does that even mean?
So this is a story that I've actually wanted to tell for a very long time, and I went ahead and I reached out to someone to make sure that this was an okay story to share. And I got that permission, and so I'm going to share with you guys a story about this. The question that this gentleman is asking is, when you're in the Appalachian Mountains, people often say, if you see or hear something, no, you didn't. There's a common belief that there's a lot of unexplained or maybe weird or strange or supernatural experiences that you experience when you're living or are going through the Appalachian Mountains. So the story I'm about to tell you guys is actually published in a actual book called The Grandfather Speaks, which was told by an elder, published by Interlink Books back in 1994. So the story goes is that a long time ago, the animals, the animal nations, and the people, they all lived together in great abundance. That so many animal nations existed that many of them don't even exist today. And they lived in this great abundance. It is now the Appalachian Mountains or the Ohio River Valley. And one of these animals was called Wakwawi. And Wakwawi means stiff-legged bear. It was the biggest of all the animal nations. Had these stiff arms that kind of lumbered around, and it was covered in really thick and coarse hair and had hide that was thicker median.
I just want to show you really quickly.
These horns, they say, were sharp as spears. And Wakwawi was...
That guy's not mixed with white. That's a full-fledged indigenous person. You'd have no way to tell. You'd think he was Irish.
By nature, a mean and destructive creature. That for a long time, Wakwawi had victimized a lot of the other animal nations. And so one day they got sick of Wakwawi and his violence, and they decided that they were going to come together and make war against Wakwawi. So all the animals, and again, even animals that don't even exist anymore, they came together, the birds and the deer and the unknown nations, they came together to make war with Wakwawi. And the fight began, the battle began with Wakwawi. And they fought for so long, and there was so much death that they said that the land was stained red, that the rivers ran red with blood from the battle, the great battle. And despite them trying their absolute best, the animal nations started to suffer great losses. Even the great bear, like the bear who was the biggest and the strongest besides Wakwawi, they came to fight, but they got wounded and needed to be removed from the battlefield. The creator sat upon a rock watching his creation make war with one another, and called forth the humankind, told the human nation, the nation of man, that they must join the fight against Wakwawi to bring balance. And so the mankind, they joined the battle. But even though they joined the battle, Wakwawi still was coming out victorious. After a while, when enough had been enough, the creator sat upon that flat rock on that hill, had lightning bolts, and started to throw them at Wakwawi. Started throwing them and striking them down. One by one, they started to fall. They were running around and they were going crazy and still fighting with one another. That in this chaos, the Wakwawi was so big that it started to dig into the earth, and it started to knock things over, and it started to trample really hard through on the land. And that's what they say created the rolling hills of Appalachia. It's the pathways that Wakwawi would take when it would charge. And one by one, Wakwawi started to fall from creator's bolts until there was one left. This last one was the